I just want to give a quick overview of a few different ways that you can set the working directory in R. So here I have a folder ZZ example, and I want to use this as my working directory. I've got a CSV file, let's say some data that I want to read into R. Right now I don't have any R project set up, I just have a folder and some data. So to start with, I'm going to launch RStudio. And now I have a couple of options. First option, I can create a project. So I'm going to come to this little icon and create a project. It's going to be a new project. And I'm going to pick existing directory because I already have a directory, that ZZ example. And then I'm going to browse and go to my ZZ example directory and pick that, and then say create project. Now right now you can see that it's switched me to that, and you'll see down here in the bottom right in my files tab that you can see I'm now in ZZ example, and you can see my data and my R project. Now I'm already here, but let me show you how I could use this going forwards. So let me close out of RStudio. Now that I have created this project, let's say that I come back another day and I know that I want to have my working directory be ZZ example. I can come in, navigate into my folder, and rather than launch RStudio directly, I'm going to double click on this R project file. That will not only launch RStudio, it will also set the directory automatically. And now you can see that my working directory is set here to ZZ example. And if I have a new R script, I can read this directly into R. I can say something like read CSV and give it that intro R sample.csv. And this is sufficient, and you can see it has read in the data here in the top right. So that's one option. Another option, if you aren't using a project, so I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to close this project so that I'm no longer relying on the project. And now, if you look here in my working directory, you'll see I'm in the home directory. So I am not in my ZZ example. A second way that you can get to there is you can use this Files tab and you can navigate to the folder you want to be in. So I want to be in ZZ example. Now I'm here, but my R is still not in this place. I can come up here to the gear, and I can go there and I can click Set as Working Directory. And when I click this, it will actually change R's working directory to be this folder. So the folder I'm looking at in RStudio and the working directory of R over here is not always the same, but I can use this Set as Working Directory to make the current folder I'm looking at in RStudio be the working directory for R. And now again, you will see I can use read CSV and I can read this data set in, and that will work. If I look here in environment, you can now see I have the data. The other thing you'll notice when I picked set as working directory, it actually created the code and ran the code in my console needed to do that. So if I wanted to, I could copy this code and save it. And now I could always, if I save this script, and I'm just going to call it example WD, I would be able to run this code here, set WD, and it's created the path to this folder anytime I wanted to set my working directory to be here, whether or not I use a project. So there's just a few different ways of setting your working directory in R. You can use the project option, whereby you create a project, put it in the folder you want to be your working directory, and then you can double click to launch that project. You can use the Set as Working Directory option within RStudio, or once you have done that, or in any other way, you can have this code that you put in a script that sets it explicitly to whatever folder you are looking for. So that's 3 different ways that you can set your working directory.